when you're happy, your brain are more engaged and productive. And that leads to a better performance in all different areas in your life.
Is that possible to restructure your brain? Because
I realized that some of the principles that he suggested I had applied over the years.
welcome to another episode of Courageously Speaking. I am your host, Maria Soriano. I'm very excited today because I get to interview another friend of mine who's also an inspiration in becoming an entrepreneur, the president and founder of Direct Source Procurement, Miss Leanne Duong-Ma. Welcome to the show, Leanne.
Thank you, Maria. I'm so excited to be here.
I am very excited too because I wanted to tell the audience, and just like me, you were also like an immigrant who had that courageous journey coming from Asia to even Europe and then here in the United States of America, living the American dream, not just for yourself, but for others. I believe that you mentioned to me when you were sharing that you followed your parents' footsteps. You actually gave up a high paying and a stable job just to become a business owner. And now you are operating a successful sourcing and wholesale business. And I can't wait to have our audience learn more about that journey of yours. Let's start. So, my first question is, a lot of times people look at somebody like an entrepreneur who's successful as perfect, but I'm sure it wasn't easy. So tell us more about your background, maybe somebody who inspired you, and also, you know, who or what affected you that much to make the decisions you are making today.
Yes, thank you, Maria. So to give a little bit background, I'm Chinese, born in Vietnam, and immigrated to Germany when I was about 4 or 5 years old. And I grew up there throughout my childhood and early adulthood. And in those early years, we grew up poor with really nothing. But despite those challenges, I had a wonderful and happy childhood. My parents created a warm and loving environment for us, and the kindness we experienced from neighbors and friends and even strangers made that time really truly special. But as you can imagine, once we were in Germany, my parents faced the task of starting all over, right? Learning new skills and building a whole new life in a country where they didn't even speak the language. But after less than a decade of hard work, they decided to open a business, a Chinese restaurant, and that was a really pivotal decision that changed our lives, me and my siblings, and provided the opportunity for us to have a better future. So by the age of 12, I was already helping out with the family business. And it gave me invaluable exposure to what it takes to manage a business, from operations and understanding the importance of customer service, really. So these early experiences shaped me greatly. So fast forward to my college years, I met my husband, who is from the
Aw.
US, and we met at my cousin's wedding in
All
Monaco.
these weddings that people meet and they may get married with the person they meet. Yeah, I'm ever interested. I just met your husband last weekend. So, yeah, tell us about this story. Very interested.
Yeah, so yeah, we met in Monaco, and uh, it was about just 2 days where we had a chance to get to know each other. And I guess, we got along well enough to sustain a long-term relationship. And after I finished my MBA, I came to visit him in the US with two suitcases and never left.
Wow.
So,
So that's how you got to America. It's about love.
yes. Isn't there a lot of things about love in this world, right? The stories that we always hear. Yeah, so that's how I ended up in the United States, and I began my career here, spending 15 years in corporate America, and worked across industries such as, the hospitality, the distribution, and restaurant industry. And so during that time, I gained really the extensive expertise and background in supply chain, wholesale manufacturing, all of which prepared me really to start my own business.
Yeah,
Um,
so you mentioned, you came here to America, found the love of your life, and I assume you have kids?
yes, we have now two teenage boys. And
Teenagers?
yeah,
Wow,
that's the
must be
handful.
tough.
Yeah, yeah, that's a whole episode, a new episode to talk about how to be a mom.
Motherhood, yeah.
When you have children, there's no manual that comes with it, right? And so it's not easy. There's a lot of changes, but the best thing that ever happened to us.
And how are you able to manage your time? Leanne, it's very hard. Now that I'm a new entrepreneur, I'm having a hard time to manage my time, to dedicate to the business, to serving the community, to having a life, and then also have a family, right? So, how on earth are you managing your time when you have family, business, community? How do you do that?
Yeah, I think as I mentioned, I started my business like in 2017, and after working in a corporate America for 15 years, I became a mom, and everything kind of changed, and I wanted to have a more balance between career and motherhood, and I didn't want to sacrifice either aspect of my life. And and also with my parents and siblings all being entrepreneurs, it felt like a natural progression for me to start my own business. So I took in 2017 the calculated risk.
I love that. Please repeat because that changed my life.
Yeah, I started to take a calculated risk and establish my own company. So the desire to balance career and motherhood was a significant driving force for my decision.
So you
Um,
wanted, so you took the entrepreneurial route so that you can spend more time with family. Did that happen in your first few years?
Yeah, not as I really expected, but I learned also through my entrepreneur journey that it is very critical, important to, take care of yourself. So, I didn't pay enough attention to self-care, and work often spilled into my family life. But and not managing the time effectively or setting clear boundaries led to significant stress and burnout. So I constantly felt like I was like falling short on work and at home, and which created frustration.
How
And
did you overcome that? Because I think everybody is feeling that way when they're new and they might just quit quit the business altogether. Most small businesses, for example, when they start, they quit within 6 months. And that's a fact.
oh, really? Okay.
Right. So, is there one thing that really helped you? Like you may say clear boundaries, but
Yeah.
even if you set the boundaries, it
Yep.
spills
Yeah.
into, your family life. Was it helpful to have like a supportive family?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, when I made the decision and have that support from my husband, that was critical. I mean, it is, he helped me throughout the way, every single step. If we wouldn't, be splitting up kind of, or him taking some additional, load, I wouldn't be able to do what all the things I did. So that is definitely important, be having the support, right, of your significant other. But, with the self-care, it was, the balance of understanding, okay, you have to distinguish when it is your work time, but also make sure that you, have the quiet time with your family. But in addition to that, I also learned that, the mental health was very important. So I, like regularly exercise. I put a schedule where I also have a morning routine where I do my daily meditation that helps with, boosting energy and really reducing the stress.
I
Um,
like that. I like that a lot,
yeah,
Leanne, because what I like about what you said is you specifically put it in your calendar as though it's a meeting,
yeah,
right?
yes,
So I think
yes,
like one of your strategies, so that our audience know is treat self-care as though it's your meeting that you can't miss. And I have to tell this to myself all the time, even
yeah,
if it's in my calendar. I don't respect my calendar and it's like, I'm gonna work first. And then now, to give you an example, this morning I promised myself I'm going to exercise. Do you think I did? So I'm like, oh no. I told myself, okay, after dinner today, going to walk with my husband. So that, I'm gonna combine family life so that, me and my husband together, right? And we can walk. So it's like killing two birds in one stone.
yes,
But
yes,
still, like I'm a little frustrated because I thought I'm very organized, but sometimes you feel defeated because I wanted to exercise and I didn't. And then also I want to make sure I'm gonna do this and that. And yesterday, do you know how long I worked yesterday? Until about 12:15 a.m.
yeah.
And it's so
Wow,
wrong. It
wow,
is so wrong, Liam. But we had to figure out something because we had to do something for a client
right,
today, and
yeah,
I had to fix with my partner, my business partner, something about technology where we're not good at it. So my question is, when you have things like that, you promise yourself this is the time for your family, but you have a fire to extinguish. You have a fire to extinguish. How do you do that? Like, do you say, well, the client can wait? Because
yeah.
what do you
No,
do?
no, I mean, definitely not. I mean, the customer is always the priority. And, for us, customer service is number one, in providing that excellence. Customer service is important. When you have those deadlines, you sometimes have to do what it needs to take to get it done. But I think the important part is that you need to remember it's just like a project. It's like a one-time thing. It's not that you constantly do it every day the same, unhealthy way. So it's more the long term that you need to make sure that you are
To
staying
focus,
focused
right?
and have that a little bit structure and boundaries for yourself. Because as I said, I learned it the hard way. Nobody told me that, at the beginning. And you guys like, started as well. And at the beginning, I was thinking that I need to respond within like, a short period of time, like within an hour to my customer. And with the whole week, the weekend as well. But as I said, earlier, when you get to a point where you get burned out and it's not healthy for you anymore, it's not going to help anyone. It doesn't help your family. It doesn't help your customer. And that's what I realized, that I need to take care of myself. Otherwise, everybody will,
Suffer,
yeah,
right?
suffer from
I
that.
really like what you said that it's not like an everyday occurrence. If it's an everyday occurrence, which is long term, then you gotta set your priorities straight. But sometimes it happens, especially when you're just starting a business.
Yeah,
So I think having a supportive family is crucial. And
yeah.
if you don't have that, my question is, if you don't have a supportive family, what do you do?
What I would say, build a network of people, friends, that support you. That would have been one of my advice as well, to create kind of supportive environment, network around yourself, because you need them when you going through this journey, and those ups and downs. And you need to reach out for advice, or just even just to have somebody to talk about. your frustrations, and that you can trust. So it is very important to have that mental support.
I
um,
like that. And that's where community comes in. And I think, like, for me, as somebody who serves in the community, I am chairing a group called Kick-Ass Female Leaders, or CAFL, wherein our mission is to really help women entrepreneurs and leaders across the board to practice self-care, learn boundaries, but at the same time be successful. And I think joining groups like that, and it doesn't have to be this particular group. It could be you have best friends that you can call at night. I'm just having a hard time. Instead of putting it to your husband or your kids, you can call a friend. I'm having a hard time today. I just need somebody to talk to.
yeah.
I think that's very important. And
Yes.
uh, I know some people in our audience might be wondering, Leanne, it's well and good. We're happy to see you thrive. We want to thrive too, but we're afraid to take the plunge. What is that maybe 1 to 3 things that you would like to share that our audience can do now so that they can get started with the business? Just 1 to 3.
Yeah. When you want to start a business, begin to explore your interests, skills, and experiences, and see what you're passionate about, and the problem that you may be able to solve. And and look in your industry, in your market, to understand if there is a need for that. Do a little bit industry research, understand your target audiences, and so also the competitive landscape, right? And the regulations. So those are, and obviously the finances, right? Assess it and make sure that you are able to cover your startup costs, right? And if it's through external funding or self-funding, but you need to be sure you understand those numbers. But in addition to these kind of practical steps, it's really also very important that you mentally prepare yourself for this journey. Believe me, it's going to be a marathon and not a sprint. So you have to.
You have to have stamina. Don't
Hmm?
you think? You have to have stamina, not just physically, because it's physically exhausting to start a business
Yes.
and to continue it. You need to have that mental, emotional stamina to withstand rejections, to
Yes.
withstand challenging clients,
Exactly.
maybe missed
Yes.
deadlines, or just figuring out a way to make everybody happy.
Yes,
And that's
definitely.
hard.
Yes, definitely. So you do need to have that, determination and the passion to make sure that you, through those kind of challenging times, that you can push through, right? And you obviously, now you're being your own boss, right? And so there's nobody that's going to tell you when to get up or what time to work. So you have to be self-disciplined and effective in your time management as
That's
well.
like pretty hard. I remember my first day of not going to work. I woke up at 9 a.m. and typically I wake up at 4:30. I felt so bad. I felt good physically, but I felt bad. It's like I have become lazy, And then it happened the next day. Oh man, 10 a.m. And then it's like this. I gotta be disciplined, so I didn't do that again. I was like, you gotta get up at 4:30 a.m. still. So I get to do a lot of work between 4:30 and like 9.
Yeah,
However, it doesn't mean that that kind of schedule works for everyone. I know of a friend that starts his day at 2 p.m.,
exactly.
but they work through like midnight.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I think like whatever works for you, right? And then
Yes.
I'm curious, is there something that ever happened in you in as a business owner that you thought you wanted to give up your entrepreneurial journey? Ever, like in your how many years? You said 2017, so
Yeah.
that's like about 7 years. Is there at any point in those 7 years, I'm just gonna, it's not worth it. I'm giving up.
Yeah. That is a very good question. And actually, nobody has asked me that before. And I have to say, happily, no, I never had that feeling.
Wow.
I never had that feeling. I'm very
Were you
grateful.
ever close to something like that?
No.
You were okay. Wow. So
No.
what's your secret?
One of the things that are very important that you also need to keep in mind when you're starting and your journey is you need to understand what are the drivers that makes you wake up every morning that you're passionate about. Why are you doing this for? These are like questions that you really need to go deep and ask yourself, because I can guarantee you there will be challenging times where you like want to cry every day, and or you are have this uncertainty and you question a lot of things. You need that why that drives you to move forward.
I
So
love that.
yes, and I always had that. The reason, I don't think that I mentioned that, but the reason why I started this in the first place was, becoming a mom, and I wanted to balance like the motherhood and career, and didn't want to give up either, right? And so the why is my family, my sons, and providing a good life for them in the future, but also being there for them as a mom. So I didn't want to regret one day that I wake up and miss that childhood. So it was my personal choice. And I'm so grateful and happy that it turned out well. And um, it's been the best thing, best decision. And I just wish maybe I would have done it earlier.
Right? Don't we all wish we have done something earlier? And that's why we have this podcast. I wanted to hear these stories to share to our audience because some of them might be thinking, well, I've been in the industry for, 20 years. I have 10 years left until my retirement. Why would I do something else? And then every day going to the office, they have this burning desire to do something else, but they don't want to because they think, oh, I'm going to start from scratch. All the 20 years that I worked for has gone to the drain and I'm no one. But think about this. Think about the next 20 years of your life. If the next 20 years is the same old, every day going to the office, telling yourself, I wish I'm doing something. I wish I'm doing my why. So maybe your why is to start a business or to finally be a teacher if you always wanted to be a teacher or a painter and you have that, financial security, maybe you should have your exit strategy already and know how to pivot with what did you say earlier that my favorite phrase?
The calculated
Calculated
risk.
risk, right? And I've been telling that to people. I felt that in my first week, do you know, Leanne, I felt that quitting my job and starting anew, I felt, wow, all of the hard work I've done in my career, I'm already in management, I gave it all up. And it means to say I'm not getting the pension, I'm not getting paid as much as I have every month, every year. Everything counts. Everything in my bank account now counts. But on the other hand, Leanne, explain to me why there's this overwhelming calm. I say overwhelming because I wasn't expecting to be calm when I'm supposed to be feeling restless because I'm just starting. What is that? Where is that coming from?
I think I can't, speak for you, but maybe it's because you found what fulfills you.
Hmm.
And, that's why what you're doing is the right thing inside your heart. And there's no explanation except for how you feel about it. Um, Maybe that's what it is, because you're doing the right thing.
Is
And
the why.
it's
That's
the
why
why.
you said it's the why. And for me, I always love helping people and making things better for people. And for you, when you started the direct source procurement, so this is a sourcing and wholesale, right? Wholesale company. Of all businesses, there's so many. Why this one?
Well, Entrepreneur, we help, I mean, with my background, I've been doing this for, 20 plus years. And I understand, I worked in the, corporate America, as I said, I was a customer myself, but also I, learned the other side of the coin where I was a supplier. So I understand oftentimes the challenges and the needs of the business owner myself, now that I'm one, and the challenges that comes with it. So we don't want to just provide you a product. Aside the fact that we, provide eco-friendly products to help to build a greener and eco-friendly, sustainable world. We also want to help you to be more cost effective, with what you procure. So we help smaller businesses to maybe have a more a analytical approach, because most of them don't, right, don't have a buyer, a department of procurement to buy for them. So we have more holistic approach where we want to understand, okay, what are your needs, what are your problems, and then we adjust our service and product to your needs. So we source and manufacture to what you're looking for. So it's
Wow.
instead of just, okay, here's the product, and that's what I sell.
So I like the fact that it's more customized for the needs of your clients, but I also like the eco-friendly sustainability. Sometimes it just becomes a buzzword, but I believe in it. I actually went to your website and saw a lot of the eco-friendly. I believe that some of your clients, you've helped them to be eco-friendly, maybe some other big clients, maybe a recent contract that you've had wherein you are turning your client into a more sustainable organization by providing them sustainable products. And that's your why. And I can see now how you are as a person, even by your business, because you are not just here to sell, you are here to help and promote sustainability and the love for Mother Nature, and it seems like that's a good inspiration for your kids. Talking about your family, if your kids are going to be gone one day, they're going to leave, right? If there's one philosophy or maybe a book that you'd like to recommend them read before they go on separate ways with their mom and dad, what would that be?
I think, one of the books that I would recommend that applies to, to the professional side, business, but also personal life, is the book called The Happiness Advantage by Sean Aker. And the book focuses on positive psychology, and, it challenges actually the common belief that, the success leads to happiness. How people often say, I'd be happy when I buy that car, or I'd be happy when I get a promotion, right? Or when I can buy that house, I'd be happy. So the author actually argues that happiness fuels success. So it's the opposite. So, his research shows, he did a lot of research, and it shows that when you're happy, your brain are more engaged and productive, and that leads to a better performance in all different areas in your life. So, and also he teaches actually some techniques that you can apply to kind of um, restructure your brain to have and
Is
focus.
that possible? Is that possible to restructure your brain? Because I know some people, they always tell me, I'm just a sad person. I was born sad. Can you give like maybe one thing that the book said how you can restructure your brain?
Yeah, and interestingly, it's been a few years that I read that book, right? But I was flipping through it, and I realized that some of the principles that he suggested I had applied over the years, and, consciously or subconsciously. And so I can definitely speak from experience. So some of the things that he does mention is, for example, meditation as well, but also is, gratitude is saying, and you see that with many successful business owners and that do these things as well, or journal, your thoughts and things. So the gratitude, write down what you're grateful for. Apply that every day, one or two, three things, in the morning and maybe in the evening as well. I practice that, and it helps you to stay positive, so you are not, your mind is not racing,
I love what you just said, and I was hoping you were gonna say gratitude, and it's like, oh, it's gratitude because I think like for me, my teacher in fifth grade said, so we had this home economics class, and I don't know, in HE, you're supposed to just learn how to cook, things like that. This teacher is so amazing. She added things that has to do with psychology, even though it was like fifth grade, and she said, whenever you're sad, class, here's one thing that you can do. Think about one thing that makes you thankful you're alive. So let's say you have three things that make you sad today. See if you can think of four things that you should be thankful of. Maybe you have roof over your head, you can eat three times a day, you have clothes to wear, and you get to go to school. Coming from a third world country, it's not the easiest to see poverty. So if you're able to eat three times a day, it's a big deal, right? And she also taught about like anger. If you're angry at someone or something, think of two to three things that will combat that one thing that angered you. I'm not saying this because I'm so good at it. I'm still like, I go back to the fifth grade teacher that taught me that, and it has changed my life. I think I've been through a lot. I'm not sure I shared with you. There were times when I was in college, I only had water for lunch. And yeah, and I had a big test. All my classmates are eating lunch, but I have to be in the lobby drinking my water so they don't see that I actually didn't have any lunch that day. It was very hard. And
wow,
but guess what? I was thankful I had water. I
yeah,
think about some children in Africa didn't even have water.
yeah,
How dare me? How
yeah.
dare me not be thankful for my water? And I said, one day I can eat whatever I want. True enough, I got to America, I gained 20 pounds. Just kidding. I still so much food here. But what I'm saying is that I came from a place of gratitude to gratitude. Gratitude when I didn't have a lot, and gratitude when I have just enough. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes, I
thank you for
totally.
sharing that book. And then repeat that book if just in case they missed. What's the book name and the author again?
The Happiness Advantage by
The
Sean
Happiness.
A. Yeah, by Sean Aker.
Okay,
Yes,
so
it's a
Sean
really good.
Aker, Happiness
Yes.
Advantage. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. I'm sure your kids will enjoy reading that before they become independent, right? So, but I think you're so amazing to share. That makes you a different kind of entrepreneur. Sometimes I look online, they always talk about you gotta work harder than anyone else. You better not sleep until you get to there. I never heard you tell that to me. Is that why?
I mean, don't get me wrong, you do need to work hard. It did not fall from the sky, everything. And I, built this in state for 7 years here. It is hard work. And I'm not, saying it's not challenging. And I'm not saying it's, easy to build a business. That's why I am saying that you do need to be sure that if you do make the decision, that you are sure what risk you are taking, and don't put your family at risk,
I
right?
love
And
that.
I never did that. But it's not. But as I said, for me, as I go through the journey, once you decide you want to go that route, it is about the perseverance, determination that keeps you going, the motivation. All of that are things that I really didn't know when I started. So if I can share that with others that have not gone through that journey yet, I'm really happy to do that. I feel, happy and privileged to be able to do that. I wish, people would have told me that when I started, right? But it's okay. Learning through my own lesson was very important as well. And I know how business owners, or how I was. I was questioning or myself throughout the journey as well. But I want always to be perfect, but I learned also to accept imperfection. That was a very critical point for me, a lesson as well, that it is okay to be imperfect and accept that, as long as you strive for the better. But it doesn't have to be, everything has to be perfect in whatever role I am or in everything I do. And the other important part is, as I said, it's a marathon and not a sprint. So reward yourself for small wins. I think you do a great job in doing that, with the combining and rewarding yourself. You are so happy. And, when I saw your post about, going to Italy, but you are enjoying that part, but also you working at the same time, that is kind of a reward for you as well, right? And you work hard for what you're doing, but you need to reward yourself, and don't forget that throughout the journey. It's very important.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This has been such a pleasurable and informative episode today. But I want to give you a chance to, invite uh, our audience to, learn more about your company.
Yeah, our vision, as you heard, is to make eco-friendly food packaging disposable, both sustainable and affordable, right? And if you own or know somebody who owns, a food and beverage venue and want to make a positive impact as well and contribute to a greener future, reach out to us. But secondly, also, if you have or planning on starting your business and you could benefit from a procurement expert, to source and help you with achieving best pricing, especially if you don't hire a buyer, reach out to us and see if we can help you in any way we can with that. And, be sure to reference the Courageously Speaking podcast in your email call so we know how you heard about us.
Well, thank you, Leanne. How do they get to your website? What's your website?
Oh, and the website is directsourceprocurement.com.
So
Yeah.
directsourceprocurement.com. And then again, mention to Leanne, courageously speaking, and she'd love to help you if you have a business or somebody who maybe starting their business. I think you'd be a good resource. I wanted to end this by, saying three things about entrepreneurship that we learned from today. I think the number one thing is to know your why, because the why is what keeps you, you know, to persevere when it's hard. Number two, having the attitude of gratitude, meaning to say, when it's hard, you're grateful. When it's easy, of course, it's easy to be grateful, right? But having that attitude of gratitude is gonna help you consciously and subconsciously be a happy person, and focusing on opportunities and turning your challenges into opportunities themselves. And lastly, never sacrifice your family. Family is everything. And perhaps for those of you who may think, well, I don't have a family right now, your community can be your family. Your friends could be your family. So I believe that, and Leanne believes that all of us are connected. And for those of you who are interested in becoming an entrepreneur, it's not as easy as one, two, three, but if you know your why, you're gonna do well. So thank you, Leanne, for today.
Thank
I
you.
hope you enjoyed the podcast.
Yes, totally. Thank you so much, Maria, for having me. It was really a great pleasure, and I really enjoyed our conversation.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for tuning in to Courageously Speaking with me, your host, Maria Soriano. We hope this episode has inspired you to always be courageous. Join us again soon, and don't miss an episode. Like, share, and subscribe. Episodes available every first and third Thursdays wherever you get your podcasts.